When I look back on my life, the things that changed me the most weren't these huge dramatic moments. They were quiet decisions. Nobody celebrated them. They weren't some big announcement. Most people probably didn't even notice that they happened. But looking back now, those small decisions completely changed the direction of my life. So I thought that I'd sit down today and share a few of them with you because maybe you're waiting for this big breakthrough when really your life might change because of one decision you make after watching this video. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Tiara and I help women regulate their nervous system, shift their mindset, and become the most aligned version of themselves from the inside out. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into the video. The first thing I had to realize is that I have full control over my life and I am not some helpless victim to my own reality. I used to not even realize how often I was giving my power away. If something wasn't working out, I would blame the situation, blame the problem, or think that life was just happening to me. And one day I remember asking myself, what if I'm not a victim here? And I don't know why, but that question really stuck with me. I kept coming back to it because if I wasn't a victim, that meant that I had a choice. Maybe not over everything that happened to me, but definitely the way that I responded to it. And that's when I started taking a real honest look at my life. I stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And instead I started asking, what am I creating in my life to get this result? I truly believe that we create our own reality. Every thought that we choose to entertain, every habit that we repeat, every decision that we make is creating something. Whether we are doing it consciously or unconsciously, we are shaping the person that we're becoming. Every decision we make in any given moment is shaping our future. And not just the big decisions, the tiny ones too. The way you talk to yourself whenever you make a mistake, whether you decide to keep showing up after something doesn't work out, whether you spend another evening working towards the life you want or putting it off until tomorrow. All of those moments are creating something. And once I started living my life that way, I stopped sitting back and waiting for things to happen for me and started making them happen instead. Another decision that quietly changed me was deciding that I wasn't going to entertain every negative thought that entered my head. And I want to be clear because I think some people misunderstand this. I don't not have negative thoughts at all. I don't think confidence means you never doubt yourself again. The difference is that I don't agree with those thoughts anymore. If my mind tells me that you're not good enough or you're probably going to fail, I don't accept it. I stop and I ask myself, where is that thought coming from? Is that actually true, or is that just an old belief that's been repeating itself for years? Then I intentionally replace it with something that is actually serving the life that I'm trying to create. Because here's what I've learned: a thought is just a thought until you agree with it. The thoughts that you entertain over and over again eventually becomes your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your decision, and your decisions are what create your life. So every time you choose to not entertain a thought that's keeping you small, you're interrupting the old pattern and creating space for the new one. Because if I believe that we truly create our reality, why would I continue to entertain thoughts that don't align with the life that I want for myself? It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, something that completely changed my life was developing a growth mindset. For the longest time, I told myself that I wasn't a good communicator. I would turn the camera on and completely freeze. It was like every thought that I had would disappear. I would overthink every sentence, record something, watch it back, delete it, and do it all over again. I genuinely believe that I just wasn't someone who could speak on camera or to new people in general. But then I realized that communication is just a skill, which means that it can be learned. So instead of accepting that story about myself, I decided to practice. I kept recording, I kept showing up. I let myself make awkward videos, and every time I showed up, I got just a little bit better. Even now, every video I make teaches me something. Every conversation helps me improve. And looking back now, I'm really grateful that I didn't let one limiting belief become my identity, because I think so many of us do that. We convince ourselves that because something doesn't come naturally, that it just isn't meant for us. But think about it. Most of the things that you are good at today is things that you once knew nothing about. You can learn almost anything if you truly believe that you can. One of the biggest decisions I've ever made was realizing that a traditional 9 to 5 was not for me. Now, before I say anything else, I want to make it clear that there is absolutely nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. This is just my story, and I don't think that I ever genuinely fit into that world. I don't like feeling like I have someone else controlling my time. I don't like having to beg and ask for vacation time off to just enjoy my life. I didn't like knowing exactly what every Monday would look like for me for the next 40 years. And if I'm being honest, I've never been really good at following rules just because someone told me to. Because the rules never made sense to me. They just felt way too limiting. I have always wanted to build something of my own, something meaningful, something big, something that can continue helping people even while I was sleeping. I just wanted freedom. And it's not because I didn't want to work. It was because I wanted my work to actually feel like mine. And again, I wanted freedom. And it took me a long time to finally trust myself to leave my job. And I'll probably make a full video on this explaining how that whole situation went. But making that decision changed everything for me, and I am constantly expanding day by day. The last decision that I want to share is something that honestly had the biggest impact on my life, and I didn't really expect it to. And that was cutting out distractions. When I really started paying attention to how I was spending my time, I noticed how much of my day was being filled with things that weren't actually adding any value to my life. I was always constantly consuming something. I was scrolling on TikTok, watching videos, constantly checking my messages on my phone, my emails, and always filling quiet time with noise. And then I would wonder why my mind felt so busy all the time. And at some point, I had to ask myself, is this actually helping me create the life that I want? Because what you give your attention to matters. What you consume actually influences the way that you think. And the way that you think influences how you feel and show up in the world. So once I became more intentional about what I was allowing into my mind, it became more clear and focused. When I deleted social media, I did not realize how much space it was going to create mentally. I've been off of it for a couple of weeks now, and honestly, I feel more present, and I feel like I can actually focus on the things that I know I need to get done. I think sometimes we don't notice how much time and energy that we are giving to things that aren't really moving us forward until we finally step away from them. And for me, protecting my peace was not about disconnecting from everything. It was about paying attention to what I am actually allowing into my life and into my space, into my mind. Because when you have more control over what you consume, you have more control over your thoughts, your actions, and the direction that your life is moving in. At the time, these choices just felt like small changes that I needed to make for myself. They honestly felt ordinary, but ordinary decisions repeated over and over again completely transformed my life. And maybe that's encouraging for you. Maybe you don't need to wait for the perfect opportunity or the perfect version of yourself. Maybe your next chapter starts with one decision. And if you're ready to start making those kinds of shifts in your own life, I created the Inner Glow Workbook to help you with that. It's the exact type of work that helped me to become more intentional with my thoughts, my actions, my habits, and the way that I showed up for myself. So I'll have that linked for you below. I am also so excited because my Inner Glow community is launching soon. If you have been wanting a space where women can grow together, support one another, and continue these conversations on a deeper level, that is exactly what I'm building. If that sounds like something that you'll love to be a part of, you can use the link below to join the waitlist and become one of our founding members. And if you are looking for more personalized support, you can also apply to one-on-one coaching with me. That's where we work together to help you move through those beliefs, those habits, and the old patterns that keep coming up for you. The goal is to help you to create a life that actually feels aligned. If this video resonated with you, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and comment below your thoughts. I'll see you on the next video.